Hi everyone, welcome to an episode of Problem Solving with A3. I'm doing this because I found that this problem solving method is actually really useful for programmers. Even though this is a method that was developed at Toyota as a structured problem solving and continuous learning tool, even though it is really for hardware, I think that for software developers and programmers, it's actually really useful because of how comprehensive it is. So at the first glance, this is how it looks like. I don't want to focus too much time on this flowchart because that would be a bit boring. In our case, I want to understand how A3 problem solving works through a case study. And in this case study, we have a health tech startup called TC. And the problem they want to look at is it took 6 months to add the user's birthday to the profile. It's a pretty outrageous time, 6 months. So that's why we're going to use this case study here. And I don't want to make this too boring. We're not McKinsey. So I want to introduce two characters here. On the right side, we have our CTO. On the left side here, we have our protagonist, who happens to be a senior software developer. Let's get started. So we start off with our CTO being quite angry, doesn't understand why it takes 6 months to add a birthday to a profile, and he's asking the senior software developer to write an A3 report on it and sync back tomorrow. So with this tight deadline, our protagonist spends all night writing up a report and comes up with a stack of reports for this problem, feeling very satisfied with herself. Unfortunately, our CTO says that this is garbage and burns up the whole report. He finally explains that A3 is not about writing the report, but instead it's about the process of problem solving. Now he explains, first you have to understand the current situation and then identify the root cause. You can only do this if you talk to the people involved. And you keep on asking why until you get to the root cause. So our protagonist goes to the product team that worked on this feature, designers and developers, and even the interns, and tries to figure out what happened and kept on asking why to figure out the root cause. We even have this complex graph of how to get a user's birthday. Seems very complicated with lots of different microservices involved. And at the very end, our protagonist finds out what the root cause of the problem is and understands the situation. It seems like the root cause is due to microservices. Our CTO is quite happy at this time. Next, CTO explains that we want to set a clear goal, and the goal has to be related to the business somehow. And you want to explain how it'll help the business as well. Once you have the goal, you want to create countermeasures with action items that actually address the root cause. And not just that, we want to confirm are our action items effective. So there has to be some sort of metrics in place afterwards. Again, our protagonist goes back to the product team to develop countermeasures, trying to figure out who's going to do what, where, when, why, and how. At the end, our protagonist figures out that the most important countermeasure here is to get rid of microservices and explains the plan and how they'll measure it. Our CTO is again quite happy here. 1 month later, after executing the countermeasures, our protagonist says that they got rid of microservices and they found out that it only takes 1 day to add a birthday to any web page instead of 6 months. That makes our protagonist a 200x software developer, and our CTO is happy again. Finally, as the CTO explains, there is still some follow-up to do. Are there any remaining action items? Who else needs to know about this? Not just on the product team, but are there other product teams or other people who will benefit from this? And how will this be communicated and potentially standardized? At the very end, our CTO congratulates the protagonist and gives her the promotion that she deserves. And now our protagonist will become a mega senior developer. That's the end of our case study. Thank you for following to this point. And if you're interested in where this came from, this is the book I read, Understanding A3 by Sobek and Smalley. And also, if you're interested in using this for your company, I have a template for the A3 report on my GitHub. So just take a look here. It'll also be linked in the description below. So check that out, please. Now, this is the template for the problem-solving A3 process. First, you have a theme, a background, current condition, the goal, root cause analysis, countermeasures, the confirmation of effect, and finally the follow-up actions. And this should actually be relatively short. Originally, the A3 process was supposed to fit on just one piece of A3 paper, and that's because you want it to be very concise and short enough to explain all the details. This is the full chart. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thank you.